Hi, Mark here from the Tangibound Podcast Network and host of the flagship show, the Tangibound Podcast. Did you know that we over at Tangibound are always looking for amazing podcasts to promote? And did you also know that we are also proud nerds and geeks of everything from movies, music, gaming, TV shows, and comic books to wrestling, MMA, soccer, and football? Whatever you can nerd or geek out about, we've got it. And if you're interested, we can help you find it. And if you're a show looking for a place to call home, we've got you covered. Side effects may include upset stomach, dizziness, tumors, shakes, and in some rare cases, death from excessive laughter. Though to be fair, it's only sometimes. Other side effects may include diarrhea, gallstones, heart palpitations, and strong desire for cookies on the dark side. Talk to your doctor and visit TangiboundNetwork.com and see if Tangibound Network is right for you.
Sucks to the last drop. Are you gonna blow your head off? Take good aim and don't forget to duck. A life sucks every Monday and all the way to Sunday, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't care how you're doing, what's up or how's it hanging. I'd like to buy this world one last drink. Life sucks all of the time, so stick it up your sunshine, and then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day. And then you'll see the clouds every day.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of The Crazy Life. I'm Brian. Joining me as always, Henno.
Hey!
And we're back again. Sorry about the long man. I feel really bad. We keep doing this. It's like somewhere out there's somebody who's just crying, like I thought you guys liked me.
Yeah. Doubt it.
We're ghosting everybody, Oh man.
Yeah.
I have been so busy. Honestly, it's surprising in ways how much I've been doing lately. But man, when it catches up to me, it's ooh boy, is it been tough.
Do you like heavy crash afterwards then? Or?
Yeah, that's like yesterday. Me and my siblings went over to my storage. So we're trying to get everything out of my storage by the end of the month, and we were over there at like 11:30 in the morning and barely got here and got stuff unloaded before it just started pouring. So, so we did that. And then afterwards I was like, because I've been trying to get some stuff listed on eBay, and just even if it's a little, whatever I feel like that day, because I'm like, I understand I have limited energy reserves. I don't know when I'm going to have a migraine or depression cycle's going to hit, kind of thing. So I'm just, if I feel like getting something done, I've been trying to do it, right? And whatever, some days it's been a couple hours of a burst. Yesterday, dude, it was all day. I mean, I didn't stop until almost midnight. Like, once we got stuff here, I started going through books and boxes and things that we brought there, because I'm like, okay, this is to donate. I threw some stuff away because, there was some stuff I didn't really want to get rid of, but because it had been sitting in storage for 10 years, it kind of like dry rotted or, so you're like, well, this is trash and whatever. Or it got chewed up by mice that apparently had been in there. Not rats, but mice. So I was doing that, and I got through a lot of it last night, and I'm, it's like you feel really good at the end of it because you're like, man, I got a lot done today. But like then today hits, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm gonna sit on the couch. I was like, I'm gonna sit on the couch. I'm gonna turn the Major League Baseball network on, just watch some baseball, and basically dink around on my phone because I am sore from moving boxes various times throughout the whole day yesterday. And I'm tired. Like I'm spent, and the only thing I air quote got accomplished today was I had a roast I needed to, it was a birria like seasoned roast. So I cooked that up, and then I made some stuff for it, and I like meal prepped basically for a few days. So did get that done. And then other than that, I sat on my butt. That's what I did today. And I needed to. And it's like, the problem is I also know that I can't do this for very long because, one day becomes 3, becomes 5, but, you know, I've been keeping myself busy, but it's like, I've still been so overwhelmed with everything because, just stuff's still in the air over getting the titles moved around on things, and just like we finally got the death certificates like last week, I think it was. So that's sorted at least. So now we can move forward with some other stuff because we needed those to do, like to move the titles around. Or start probate or whatever it is we end up having to do. We're gonna need a death certificate. So I was like, God, finally we got those. So, and the grief part has been better. I'm getting more to where things are a little more normalized, but there's still very much, moments where things still are kicking me in the pants or whatever. And I went through, was it earlier in the week? I had a few days where I woke up because I swear my mom was calling me. Like, I swear I heard her voice. And the way, like, once in a while she would wake me up. And I swear I heard it. And I dart up out of bed and, walk through the house because I'm just like, I know I didn't hear her, but also I heard it, and I'm sure it's just because it's in my head. You know what I mean? Like your brain manifests.
Yeah.
But oh boy, you talk about waking you up real fast.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Because, it would wake me up like in a dart anyway because I was always afraid that something was wrong. If she was calling for me or whatever. And but man, I just, that was I guess I'm not going back to sleep kind of situation, because you're wide awake at that point and freaked out, and the weirdest part was the one day I swear I heard that, and I got up and I'm looking around and my cat's walking by me and she kept looking the direction where I thought I heard it. And I'm like, okay, you didn't hear it too. But she kept looking the same the direction where I thought I was like, oh man.
My God, I just had chills.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
It was so weird, but like I said, I know better, but it's still like, man, just really kind of gets you, and I'm still having things where, once in a while, like your phone, how it randomizes pictures and picture of mom will pop up on there. And, it's like, oh, but also, there were the pictures we picked for the memory board for the funeral. So a lot of them are her smiling or whatever. So at least they're pleasant, but it's like I was going through stuff yesterday and I found a stack of old pictures, like me and Tony when we were like children in this one. There's one, I'll send it to you. It's a great picture of me and him. We're at a car show. It was one of the car shows my family did where we set up as a vendor. And, but him and I are standing, I forgot what car we're standing by, and we're both like wearing fanny packs and acting like we're tough. And it's great. I sent it to him last night. I was like, look at these turds, and so, that was fun. And then, as I'm going through it, I'm seeing like our setup, and I'm seeing pictures of my dad, and then I'm seeing pictures of mom, and again, it was like, it was bittersweet, because obviously we had fun there and whatever. And but it was still, it's still like that reminder that she's gone. And honestly, I still don't want to believe it. And it's been 2 months, I know eventually it'll be like my dad, to where it's back to life, things go on, all that kind of stuff, but I'm just so, I'm still in, I don't want to say denial, but like refusal. Like, I don't want to believe it, I still want to believe that someday I'm going to get up and she's going to, be out in the living room watching TV, doing a puzzle or something, like it's because it's what I want, Like I'd kill for that, but it isn't going to happen. But well, shouldn't happen anyway. I guess it could happen, but if so, then I've got a lot of questions.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, But overall, I think I'm doing better on that regard. In that it's not the weight of the grief doesn't feel as heavy. Also, in fairness, I have had my antidepressant increase, so maybe that's part of it. Could be a little of column A, a little column B, but whatever. The point of that medicine is to help me function. So, I talked to my doctor about that, and I've seen my therapist. Actually, I have therapy this coming week again because we're doing it a little closer together, given what's going on. And then I've got a psychiatrist.
So what was your last?
3 weeks ago.
When was your last therapy?
I think it was 3 weeks
And
ago.
how was it?
It was good. I didn't. That's right. We haven't recorded since that. So,
No.
I got to tell her the whole thing because I hadn't seen her since my mom had died. So, I went through that whole thing, and and just explaining to her about overwhelm and just how bad I was doing. But I had a breakthrough a little bit right before then. And I actually really opened up to my siblings about not just recent depression, but like I went back and was explaining to them about how I've been dealing with this since I was like 14 or 12 or whatever it was. And how I was suicidal and how I had a plan and how I was way beyond just having a plan. Like I very much had intent to try to kill myself. And I apologize to anybody listening, if that's triggering. But I told them about how my mom was my safety net. She's the reason I couldn't do it because she had lost the child before me. And I knew how bad that hurt her. Like she never, I think really, I mean, not that you do, you know what I mean? But I don't think she ever recovered from that. Like you don't recover from those kind of losses. Parents, probably siblings. I thank goodness I was not alive then. So I have not experienced sibling loss yet, but parental loss and child loss, I'm sure are horrible, So that was always kind of in the back of my head was I can't do this to her. And honestly, I never even was like, I can't do this to my dad or my siblings or blah, blah. Like it was, I can't do this to mom, And it's weird thinking that way because I want to say that to people because I want them to understand that's how narrow your mind can get when you're suicidal. Is I literally didn't care or think about anybody else and how it would affect them. It was fortunate that I thought of my mom, because if I hadn't thought of her, who knows if I'd still be here, And anyway, I realized, though, that no matter how dark things got for me over the years, I always had that floor. My mom was still around. So as long as mom was around, basically, I was like, well, mom's around. You can't harm yourself. Like, you can't kill yourself. And not that I've wanted to, but I've still had those thoughts. Those thoughts don't really go away. They come and they go, but you know what I mean? Like they don't just stop all of a sudden. And I was sitting in the living room thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't have my safety net anymore. And I'm in a really bad place right now. Like, I'm worried, I'm overwhelmed, I'm dealing with grief. I have depression that I've had on top of all of the, like not grief related, but just air quote, regular depression, and I'm just like, and I'm just sat there in the living room and I was just like, whoa. And then it hit me also that I'm like, by having that safety net all these years, I don't think I've realized what things really have been like in my head. I think I've been masking even to myself. I think I'm right back where I felt when my first therapist was like, here's the distorted thinking worksheet. And here's how not logical you're being right now, even though you think you are doing great, And that aha moment I had then, and I think I kind of was sitting there with that the other night, that I was like, I don't think I've really faced how bad this has been for me over the last X years. And if I'm not seeing it and facing it, then I'm not being honest with my therapist and my friends and my family. And I was like, because it's like, how do you mask to yourself? You know? But I am, because I'm basically thinking I'm fine, but I wasn't, you know? And I know that sounds silly, because it's like, if you tell yourself you're fine, right? Like, literally, if your brain says you're fine, you're fine. But I wasn't, and I'm not. And that's why I talked to my therapist about this a little bit, and we didn't have time, unfortunately, to really get into this, because I had so much to catch her up on. So this time I'll be getting into this a little bit more. And when I told my siblings, my one sister, I was like, I could never do this to Mom. And she goes, well, you can't do that to us. And on one hand, in my head, I'm going, like, I was telling Jeannie about this the other night, and it was like, you can't tell somebody that, but also it meant a lot to me that she said it. Because if somebody is suicidal or feeling that way, it's not right to guilt on that. She wasn't meaning to guilt on it, though. And that's why I think it meant so much to me, is I know what she was meaning is, please don't do this. We love you a lot. Like, we don't want you to go anywhere. We don't want anything to happen to you. So I was able, knowing that made it to where I could very much take it as what it was intended, versus going, hey, you don't get to tell me that. Because they have a right to feel the way they feel too. And, but I'm glad I finally was able to fully explain to them what I've been dealing with for a lot of this time, and I didn't even get into all of it. They got the Cliff's Notes, like, there's a lot they still don't fully know and understand. But I've also noticed over the last how many ever years that, like, my want and ability to leave the house have gotten worse and worse and worse. And that's another reason I'm going to talk to a psychiatrist, because I want to, like, do I need a med adjustment? Also for the sake of, like, is there a diagnosis here? Because that helps me, like, in my brain, if I have something I can work against, like, I can go, okay, I have this, and then try to understand it a little better so that I can be kinder to myself about it. It was that night when I had that whoa moment. I was actually texting with my one sister, and I just dumped all of it right on her, and all that. And, she was and I, of course, like I do with anybody, when I start talking about this stuff, I generally will start by saying, I'm not going to hurt myself. Like, I have no intent. I have no plan. I have no, to at least try to put others at ease in that regard. Because, like, when I told my therapist, she stopped me, of course, because she has to ask that question. My doctor the other day, they give you the mental health form to fill out when you go in, the screener, and it was bad. Like, it was one of the highest scores I've had in a long time. And he was like, are you okay? Because one of the questions is, do you feel you'd be better off if you were dead or harming yourself? And I put yes, because I'm very resigned to, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I'm okay with that. I've been that way for years, and people, it sounds like a downer, but people don't realize how much of a comfort that is to me, because in my head, I'm more like, I'm not worried about that outcome. It's just like, if this is it, this is it, kind of a thing. It's almost a relief, because then I don't have to deal with this hatred of myself, this hurt. I don't have to deal with all that anymore. It's over. It's a dark gentleness, is more of what it is. But, when I tell my doctor those, of course, he's like, like, immediately, and I'm like, this is good, because this means they're both doing their job. If you hear a patient is in a bad way, it's kind of like, do we need to talk to you? Do we need to discuss options or whatever? So anyway, but yeah, it's like, that's that's all good stuff, even though it's about bad stuff. You know, it's a massive step for me to open up to, like, I don't know if you saw it or not, but the night that I had that thought, I posted it on Facebook. And I rarely post on Facebook. And the reason
I
I
wanted to ask you about, there
Go
was a posting you made and I was curious about it. Was this the one that you were talking about? You said that the grief process has brought up other things.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, because I was curious about that, because
Yeah.
it was, I mean, it was a hell of a statement.
Well, and the thing was, I posted it because, you know, we've talked before on here about how, you know, like when you say something out loud, it makes it real, right? Like in ways versus just keeping it in your own head. So me putting it on Facebook, it was like me laying bare, you know,
Yeah.
like literally just being as vulnerable as can be, but it wasn't with that intent. I wasn't looking to get sympathy. I didn't even care if I got responses. I knew I would, obviously, but I wasn't looking for it.
Yeah.
It was more of like holding myself accountable, I guess. You know, by posting it there, then it's like you can't mask if you tell the truth. I think that's kind of what it was like, I have to tell the truth here. I want to put this out there. And then if it does inspire conversation, that's fine. You know, obviously I'm willing to talk about any of this with, you know, pretty much anybody, you know, especially loved ones and, you know, such. So that's why I did it. And I'm glad I did, because it really did make me feel like, okay, now you're taking the mask off a little bit, you know, and then talking to my siblings, right? Talking to my siblings, peeling that mask off there, going over it again here. So it's sitting out on the internet through our podcast for anyone to hear and listen to, you know, because, you know, and we know that you and I have both been very vulnerable on here because we've seen this as we've talked before. It was like bonus therapy basically for a long time. So yeah, I think, you know, other than those things, I've been trying to stay positive, even though I'm so worried about everything, you know, and it stinks so much that my biggest trigger always has been money. Like financial insecurity's always been my biggest depression trigger. And I am so far in the swamp right now, you know, like I'm okay, but I don't have a plan. And I don't like not having a plan. You know, like I told my siblings, because they were like, you know, everything will be okay. You'll be fine. And I'm like, that doesn't work for people like me. I need to feel like there's a plan. I need to be able to see the safety rope. You know what I mean? Like I need to know there's something, and I'm playing pretty fast and loose right now. You know, like I said, I am okay. I fully understand. My needs are met, right? I get that. But I don't know for how long. And that's where things get scary, right? It's one of those times where I don't want to live in the future, but also you kind of got to take a little peek that way once in a while, because it does matter, you know, because what I do now does affect that, you know? So anyway, I think that's most of my stuff. So I don't know if you have any follow-up or questions or anything like that. Feel free.
I mean,
I know I just put a lot out there too, but
well, no, but it's. I've always had. I guess I've felt a little, because it's been so much about you and your mom, and you've always had so much support from your mom.
Yeah,
and you know, and I know, I mean, I know that, you know, you're close with your family, but there's also been, you know, parts of your family where it seemed like they didn't understand you.
Yeah. And that's another reason why that was a big thing, was they sat and listened, and I do think that things have landed differently now. Okay. So
yeah, and I think that's where, and I think that was kind of, I know my own, I mean, I already told you this, that I, you know, that your mom being gone, it wasn't just also your mom. It was
Yeah.
you and your future and your life, and that,
Yeah.
you know, and that.
Well, and like you
you know,
said
like,
too, something that made me fully realize was how much she did for me. And I don't mean financially, but I mean those days where she woke me up to check on
yeah,
me. Hey, it's 8 o'clock at night.
yeah,
Are you okay?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
hey, let's go get lunch. Let's get out of the
yeah.
house.
You
You know?
you guys had an honest partnership,
Yeah,
with regard to you. You looked out for each other.
we
You
did.
took care of each other,
We totally did. And
and
that's scary because
yeah,
I don't have that now. I mean, people check in on me, which is great. But like, my siblings yesterday, and they're like, if you need anything, call it. And I'm like, you got to understand part of depression is I feel like a burden.
yeah, yeah, and
I'm
that
like,
my depression tells me not to.
right. And I'm like, I will try, but I also need you to maybe once in a while. And they've been good about it. But, it's like, I need you once in a while to check on me also because by
Yeah,
nature, I will isolate. It's what I'm really good at.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and we talk about it because that's what the disease wants.
Yep. It is.
It wins. It wins when you isolate. It
Yep.
wins. Like that's how it. Yeah. And yeah, I'm.
yeah. I guess it's not knowing, like, the dynamic with the rest of your family. Not, because, like I said, there's so much of your day to day life that just revolved around your mother, and
Yeah.
obviously doing stuff with your brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
But
But it was more with her
uh,
because we lived together. So, we ate together
yeah,
every day. We went to
yeah,
places and just sat and talked with each other. Like you said, it really is it's whether a person is your friend, a roommate, your spouse, whatever, that person you cohabitate with becomes, like, first of all, part of your routine, but also, like I said, she would, on days where I just wouldn't get out of bed, whether it was because of migraine,
yeah,
depression, whatever, and she would come in and be like, "Are you okay?" Like, and sometimes she'd
yeah,
be like, "It's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Like, you haven't gotten out of
yeah,
bed." Other than maybe use the bathroom or something, it's like, you need to get up and eat? Have you taken your medicine? Like,
yeah,
and now, thank God I have my cat because I know I have to get up and feed her. I've
yeah,
said that before, because my therapist asked me that too. And I said, well, I have a cat. I said, so, I said, honestly, I said, I don't want this to sound like some grand statement, but she might be saving my life. Who knows?
yeah.
On some of these days, maybe I wouldn't bother getting out of bed. So, you know,
And well, the other thing I was thinking about was that you've also had this incredible amount of growth over the last, I don't know, what we call it, 8 years
yeah,
of where, you've taken proactive steps
yeah,
for betterment of your life and mental health. And, yeah, sure, maybe it, you'd like to see it better, or, maybe further along or whatever it
yeah,
is. But,
right.
um, in some ways that that change was still kind of buffered by your relationship.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
And now is the real truth about how much work have you done?
you're right.
How effective is it?
Yeah,
Like, this is it.
yeah. And like
And
I've
that's
said, as
where
far as
I,
the grief
yeah,
process goes, I think I've actually done really well.
yeah,
I really do because I learned so much from how I didn't process and didn't deal with things with my dad. I just buried everything. And this time, like I
yeah,
said, I'm hurting out loud, man. I'm telling people that
yeah,
want to listen. I'll tell
right?
people.
That's how, hey, how are, like I always say it, it's like, how is somebody supposed to be of service to you if you don't say ouch?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And I do believe that. And I think the bottom line is I'm just really happy to know that your family is like, say ouch and we're here for you.
Yeah. And we've all been doing
And
it
that
for
your
each
family,
other because
yeah,
we're all still hurting
yeah,
really bad. I mean, again, it's only been 2
yeah,
months. It hasn't been that long, but
yeah,
also you can just tell, like we still talk about stuff, and all of us will start getting emotional. Like, you can tell it is still so fresh, and we're all still hurting so bad, you know. So it's good that we're coming together, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to let go of those people. The in my head, it's always been, yeah, but there's somebody in your life that sits there and says, dude, why don't you just get up and go to work?
Yes.
You know, like, that's their attitude.
Yeah.
It's like,
oh my God, my life would be so much easier right now if I could just get a good job and be done with it. Right? If I just found a job that paid all my bills right now and could go, no problem, go to work, I'd be so happy. Because then my financial worries would go away. A lot of my worry would go away. It'd be so easy. You know?
And and the fact that maybe if somebody in your family had that kind of thought process, that maybe they're seeing that it really isn't that simple.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And So I'm just happy to hear that you still have a lot of support. And
and that is one thing I have really like, is that we have been talking more frequently, you know, all four of us talking together and different stuff, so that we are really trying to help each other through this, so that it doesn't, you know, because it sucks for all of us. And I don't want this to be a contest, but it's like, you know, in a lot of ways it sucks more for me because I have to deal with all the stuff here, you know.
And you have the day-to-day, day in, day out connection. I mean, that's different.
It is.
You know, it just is.
And again, every day I wake up and walk around, there's nothing but memories around.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
And stuff. That's why I said I'm not trying to make it a contest. It's just
no, but it's just the way it is.
It's really hard. Yeah. And they know it, and they understand that, and they think of that stuff, you know, because they've invited me to things. That's great. And, hey, you know, just to get you out of the house kind of thing. And
and that's like, I'm also then I think about, like, how many family things have your mom gone to where you stayed behind?
Yeah, there was a lot.
And a lot. And what did the family think of that?
Yep.
And that it doesn't sound like they're holding that against you.
Right. And I explained when I had my talk.
They're still asking you.
Yeah. When I explained everything to them, I really fully went into that too, about, you know, what it takes for me to go and do things. And it's really hard because my brain does not want me to, whether it's, like I said, for lack of a better term, like an agoraphobia kind of situation, or if it's just anxiety, or my stomach's upset, or I have a migraine, or it's a bad depression day, whatever the dumb reason is, it's still a reason. And like I explained to my brother why I haven't been to his house much and why I missed his wedding. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I did before, but I don't remember for sure. So it's like, well, I'm going to do it now because I want them to understand how much this sucks. This isn't me just going.
Clearly, they're listening right now.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want this. I don't want people to think it's just he doesn't want to. It's like, it isn't that. A lot of times I do want to. And it's like I explained to him, I said, this isn't just you guys. I said, I do this with Tony. And I explained to him the Just Keep Calling episode of Salty Language.
I was just going to say it. I just wrote it down.
About how I literally almost could have lost my best friend over this. Yeah. And it wasn't something I would in a million years do. Because you can listen to that episode and hear me go, whoa. Like, oh, man, I didn't know it was that bad, because I didn't. You know, so
because you didn't,
I had no clue. And I told him, I said, since then, Tony and our relationship has changed a lot since then. We talk about stuff now. I mean, I do it on Salty Language. I talk on that show sometimes like I do on this show. We never did that before, you know, and for a long time. So, it's why I said, it's like I'm with you in that I've seen growth. I understand. I have come a long way. I can't deny that. But I do also very much see some things that are very concerning to me and getting worse. And they've just gotten worse and worse. And like my mom was getting to a point where she wasn't driving as much, so we weren't leaving the house as much, you know, and I'm not blaming her in any way for this. I'm just saying it's a contributing factor to me not leaving the house. And my mindset, and, you know, COVID was another one. Remember back then I was talking about that. I'm like, because my brain keeps telling me out there is danger. And now there is, like
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, now there actually is, yeah.
right. So that's the worst thing for that kind of thinking is justification, because once you have a little justification, you become dangerous in that regard. So, and it's just gotten worse and worse, and it's something that I have to deal with, but it's affecting my life so much now. Phobia and fear rule me more than anything else does in my life. Like optimism and hope are there, but they're not driving the car. I try really hard, but they're not driving the car.
Well,
they're at least in the car now. It used to be in the trunk.
Yeah.
They've moved to the back
Yeah,
seat.
well, that's yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Is I really hope that the tools you have developed are,
they help.
pushing their way in a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas before they didn't have a chance.
Right.
Like they didn't stand a chance.
I think what's happening is with the not wanting to leave the house and only feeling safe here is I think that's gotten worse and worse, and I don't think I've focused on that enough over the years. Like I think I've kind of just let that silently grow. Like I've talked about it with my therapist a few times, but I don't think I put enough weight into it's one of those things. I don't think I realized how bad it had gotten.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like even now, it has been really hard for me to want to leave the house. And it's not grief. It's something, it's that it's been there. You know what I mean? Like that monster has been in the room. It's not a new visitor, and it hasn't gotten any worse since she died. It was getting worse prior to that, much worse. So it's something I have to face, because it also alters my ability to, like, if I were to try to get a job, like work from home stuff's really hard to find right now because a lot of companies have gotten rid of it. And, some of the work from home stuff is getting converted to AI jobs and plus a lot of the stuff that you find are scams, and there's just, there's so many things about it that make it really hard to find a decent. And it sucks because for people like me, and don't get me wrong, ideally they're not great for me because that would allow me to stay home, right? Like realistically, I need to get moved from the home to fight against this, but also while I'm getting tools to try to fight against this, it would be better if I could, you don't just take somebody who has a phobia and throw them completely into it. You ease into it, you push into it, but you don't go full hog on it. It's like anybody who's watched Hoarders, they'll tell you on that show all the time. They're like, you don't just take all their stuff out of the house. Like they have to be on board, otherwise it won't work. And it's similar in this. If you just showed up and physically carried me out of the house, it's not going to make me go, oh, you know what? This isn't so bad. My brain's just going to go home, go home, go home, go home, go home, and it does it no matter where I'm at. Even if I'm at Tony's house where I feel safe, like I know I'm safe, but at a certain point, and it's not very long, my brain kind of starts feeling uncomfortable and I start thinking about wanting to get home, back to my safe zone. So, and the other stuff I deal with is bad enough. I don't need this getting worse.
Right.
So, so I mean, gosh, like, what was that? I forgot what it was. I put off quite a bit. But the other thing I've been doing is in the event that I'm going to try to talk to a lawyer about disability potentially again, even if it's something that's like a temporary situation until I can figure something out or whatever, is I've been really writing down how things are affecting my life. All the different ways that each of the things I deal with affect me. So because I didn't really do that, I did it last time, but I wasn't fully truthful. I didn't tell him the whole story, and this time if I do it, I intend to go full on. And if not, then at least I have something I can take into my therapist and go, hey, here's the things that are really bugging me. What can we do with this? Or my doctor, a psychiatrist, whatever, whoever it is of my team that I can get help from, so anyway, so how about you? How have you been? Let's move on from.
my gig month started
Oh, right. Yeah.
last week. Yeah, so
Okay.
this is I got three. We do this. It's called Wicked Wednesday. At it's a burger joint called the Wicked Spud,
Okay.
and so they have a big stage in the back, and they do the Wicked Wednesday concert, and you're always teamed up with a nonprofit. They do raffles and
Oh, yeah.
they
Okay. I think
basically
you've done this
right.
before, right?
I've done it for years
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I thought so.
and
Okay.
and this year I'm doing 4 bands, but I'm doing the next 3 Wednesdays in a row.
Right.
And I thought not only was I going to be doing the next 3 Wednesdays in a row with 3 different bands, that I was going to be doing sound at all of them too.
Mhm.
Well, a DJ moved into the Valley and got a job doing sound with Sun Valley Company, and he's totally into doing sound, doesn't care. As long as he's got the night off, he'll come do it. So I was like,
Oh,
yes!
cool. All right.
So I didn't have to do sound last week. Last Wednesday was great because I was supporting my buddy Patrick, who's like me. He's a guitar player that does sound and plays bass in everybody's bands. So he's also a guy that supports everyone.
Right. Right.
And he writes his own original music, and it's awesome music. And he's always wanted to do a full band. I mean, a full band.
Mhm.
And I mean, drums, bass, guitar, lead guitar, keyboards, everything. And we did it. And he finally, for the
Awesome.
first time, and it was his music and some other people's, some covers. And
Yeah.
so he plays some songs from that artist that used to live up here. So their original music and bands that he used to play in, and he's kind of brought them back. And so they're like his. I do the same thing with some of my former bandmates.
Yeah.
Like I like to play their songs just because we played them together.
Yeah,
and
sure. Why not?
There's
Yeah.
nostalgia, right?
Mhm.
So anyhow, so that one was done, and that's why I'm able to podcast tonight, because it was like we were doing Sunday night rehearsals. And I mean, I am doing a rehearsal, like it's been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday off, but usually, even maybe Thursday I'm rehearsing.
Yeah.
So it's been every night of the week. And then if I do have a free night, I'm doing homework for the next rehearsal.
Right.
Right. And so the big 80s cover band thing, that's been great because all the songs are learned now. And so now it's just a matter of, okay, what songs are we going to do? Like I've learned everything. Now I just need to refine everything. And I still have another month before I do that gig. So that's turned out great. And then I did a gig with Jukebox Widowmakers a couple weeks ago up in Pine, that little community it's a resort around a lake with and they got hot springs up there. And we had a great show. I mean, it was a great show. And I think it's because all of us are playing in other bands right now.
Yeah.
So we're like really, we're just
Kinda
got
sharp.
music around us.
Yeah, I was going to say you're kind of sharp, I would imagine.
Yeah, we're just on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's been great. And the sound thing's a big bonus. This guy Mike doing
It is, because I know you don't really mind doing it, but also if somebody else does it, it's like you don't sound so disappointed about that.
yeah, at all, because
Yeah.
it's just one and I've got the afternoons off, so I can actually go help him and set things up, and it's great. I'm going into this with no panic and no fear, so that's the best part.
Yeah.
Like I just feel good. There's some gigs are going to be more challenging than others, but overall, I'm really excited. On the work front, that things got interesting. I had I just hit my limit.
Mm.
I went in on a Sunday. Like I had busted my butt all week to get this project done. And I came in on Sunday and I had no idea what the status was.
Wow.
I had no idea. Nobody sent me an email and said, I got this done, this done, this done. I had no idea. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to assume that everything's good. I sent an email to the owner, and the owner was kind of confused because she walked into her unit and everything was done, but I had no idea. She was like, "Why is he asking me this?" And because I don't know. In my world, I would let the people know that.
Right. How dare
so then
you,
I had
silly Henno, expecting others to behave the way you would.
I had some reports to do, and I went into our work order system, and I'm like, I, I'm done. I'm just done. I have yelled, I've screamed, I've been nice, I've sent testy emails, I have fully read people the riot act. I have done everything for quite literally decades, well, almost decades, and it hasn't made a dent.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why do I bother?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I don't need to. I don't need to. Nobody asked me to do this. I have brought my decades of experience to the table, and clearly it doesn't matter.
Right.
And I think the hard part about it for me is that, and it's something that a debate that I have with the health club and dealing with their people too, is y'all getting paid.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're getting paid, there's no reason you can't do it a certain way.
Yeah.
Because you're getting paid.
Right.
It's a job. It's not optional.
Right.
It's not show up and do it however you want. But I guess it is. And so I was so, when I get mad, I start cleaning.
Okay.
I do it at home too. Like when Sharon and I are having,
I wish
like,
I wish I
kind of
did that
intense
when I got mad. I
conversations.
would have such a nice house.
So I pick up a bottle of 409 and a rag, and I start cleaning the kitchen when Sharon and I are having discussions. And it's not just about being mad; it's just having a heavy discussion. There's something about it that allows me to like to like focus better
Yeah.
and I'll start dusting. So at work, I looked around and I'm like, this place is a freaking pigsty, and I started deep cleaning, and I did not want to talk to anybody. I'm just cleaning. I am sick and tired of everyone just, they get their job done, then they just leave the crap lying around. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it all. And the funny part was I had a plan when I was waiting until Tuesday when everyone was there to talk to everybody individually. So Monday was a little tense. And the best part was the next day, the new kid was the one that comes up. I don't want to call him a kid, but
Yeah.
the new guy is the one that comes up to me and says, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, Daniel, you are awesome. Because he was mainly because he's like, "Is everything okay between us?" And I said, "Yes, everything's fine between us. It's not you personally."
Right.
I said, "It's everybody, and it's a lot of things, and I'm going to talk to everybody individually, and I will explain why." And nothing's going to change as far as my interaction, but there are things that I am going to stop caring about.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yep. I understand that.
And
that was my story years ago about are we going to see a different Brian? Like, you sure are.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
And
yep,
so
I'm going to give you what I see I'm going to get in return. That's what I'm going to give you now.
That's it. So I sat down with the GM and it was great. He's like, okay, ordinarily I'd like want to find a solution to this, but there's nothing here to be solved, is there? And I'm like, no, I don't want anything fixed. There's nothing to be fixed. I'm just letting you know I'm changing the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that some things are going to be different. For the most part, it's going to be the same. And I sat down with everybody individually and I explained it.
Yeah.
And they knew everybody knew exactly what I was talking about, because
well, it's like we talked
they're
about,
the
right?
ones that,
like, you can't control what they do. So if
Nope.
they're going to keep doing A, all you can control is your reaction and what you do. So that's what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now I won't remind people. I'm not going to get upset about stuff. I'm just going to go over and take care of it. Somebody leaves the golf cart where they're not supposed to leave the golf cart, I'm just going to jump in the golf cart and move it where it needs to go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get paid way too much money doing it.
Right.
But if that's the way it's going to be, and then the really, I mean, I don't know, I guess it's not even ironic, is that then the proverbial poop hit the oscillating air handler. And if there was ever a time that I could have walked in and said, you know,
Yeah.
I could say I told you so. But I didn't, because you know what? Y'all in misery right now. And I told you you would be,
Yeah.
and you didn't listen. And I said, and my thing was, I'm not going to be involved in fixing this. A little bit. I'll help.
Yeah.
I'll help as much as I can, but this is on all of everybody that is involved. Like, I just sat there. I was like, and I said, how can I be of assistance? But I set some boundaries.
Yeah.
I said, I am not fixing this. This is your guys' issue. You did this. We had some owners that were so furious. They were like rude, insulting.
Oh, wow.
They they were pushed beyond.
Wow.
And I was just like, I kind of said this was gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not out of any sort of like, ooh, I'm so brilliant. No, it's common courtesy stuff.
Oh,
It's
okay.
basic common courtesy stuff. It's you communicate with people, you let them know when things are going to change.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Yeah.
I just was like, so in a lot of ways, worked out a lot easier
Yeah.
because
yeah. You let more stuff go now.
a lot.
By that I
I'm
mean
a lot happier.
by let go I mean you don't like try to control it. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
not clutching a turd anymore. Because
that's
why
pretty good.
would I?
That's pretty good strategy for
Analogy.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, nope. I am not. There's no reason for me to clutch that. Nope, nothing. There's
Right.
no good comes from that. So yeah, and it's like, oh god, one thing finally kind of resolved itself at the end of last week, and I just looked at the sheer amount of hours that went into it, and I was like, and all of it could have been prevented. All of
Yeah.
it.
That's what
Just every
remember I
single
told you
bit of it.
my dad always used to get mad about that when he had his shop because he'd get so mad when he'd have to have somebody do something over. And he, because he was like, why does everybody have time to do it over, but never time to do it right?
Right,
And he's like, just do it right the first time and be done with it and move on. We'll make more money that way. Because when we get a job done, we got space for another car. If you have to keep going back and doing work, it's 3 weeks before we put a new car in that bay,
So my win for, I would say, since our last podcast was that I think I handled it right. I made a decision. I set a boundary, and I told everybody about the boundary, and I said that it's not going to be anything inadvertent, but you're going to notice a difference. I will be a different person.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I have asserted. No one's asked me to do it, so I'm not going to.
Right.
And
Well, especially like if you're not
uh,
kept in the loop on stuff as, it's like, hey, I was helping here and you're not keeping me in the loop on this. Like, why am I, and it's not something I need to do. Like you have other stuff to do. Yeah.
I seriously, I couldn't believe it when I came out. I'm like, nothing, not even not an email, a message, anything
Yeah.
saying, hey, we got it all done.
Yeah.
And the best part about it though is when I contacted the owner, she actually said, hey, there's this one other thing I need you to come do. And I said, yeah, I'll be right over there. And I walked in there and it looked incredible. I mean, we had a full on leak. The ceiling was destroyed.
Mm.
And in a week, it looked like we were never in there.
Oh, awesome.
And I was so proud of us.
Yeah.
Like all of us, everybody that jumped in and did their thing. And I hadn't done drywall work in a while because I've been trying to hand it off to somebody else.
Right.
And I jumped in there and it was like no time went by. Like I was like, yep, I still got it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it felt really good. And the fact that it got that then, one of my coworkers came in and finished the job and did it right, and it looked incredible. Like, I was so proud of us, and I know the owner was super happy. Yeah, and I just it was just so funny. I'm like, and you could have sent me an email saying it got done.
Yeah, right.
Like, all right. So yeah, that was the extent of my little my drama, and there's still stuff happening every day that I have to stop, and I like the idea of trying to find new ways of doing stuff. But man, when you've been doing it a certain way for a long time and it's
Yeah.
worked perfectly good the way you do it,
Yep.
then why are you changing it?
Yeah. I can see
I
maybe
mean,
try
is it
something
just for your
once.
own glory?
Yeah. I can see trying something once or twice. It's like, hey, this isn't more efficient. This isn't this. Like, what, like let's just do it the other way. The time, like, I'm not saying you can't ever change something, because there are times where someone with a fresh idea does improve a situation, but
Oh, absolutely.
like you
100%.
said,
I will. Yep.
like, I'll for sure listen. Like, let's talk it over real quick, because you might have a better idea, but also, and
Yeah.
it's tough because, like, I remember that when Tony and I had our shop, and then one guy came in and he thought he had all these fresh ideas, and he's, well, why don't we try this? I'm like, we did, it didn't work. Why don't we do this? And it's like, here's why, like, we're going through, and and he's like, well, you guys don't want to listen to any of my ideas. I'm like, we've heard every one of your ideas. We've already tried a lot of your ideas, or I've explained to you
Yeah.
just why they won't work. Like how they create a bigger problem. So you aren't really solving something if you create a bigger problem, So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was one today. I got in, and there was an email about our new credit card where their security system requires a digital receipt to be uploaded. And I'm like, all right, I already print a receipt. I code the receipt, so for the general ledger codes, so the accountant knows where to bill it.
Mhm.
Now you want me to also email you a digital copy of the receipt. And I was like, you just made you made more steps for me. And
Yeah.
I went, well, wait, all I'm responsible for is handing over a copy of the receipt and coding it. So I sent the digital receipts, and within an email with the codes that it goes to. And if somebody needs a physical copy, you guys can print it out.
I was actually going to ask
So
that. I'm
nothing
like,
changed.
could you just skip the physical part? Okay. So yeah. Because, like, if you can go digital on it and it's coded, then that's the same, like, why do you need the physical copy too?
The IRS might want the physical copy.
Yeah.
And so that means somebody will have to do a physical copy,
Yeah.
but it's not me.
Right.
I've noticed you people have time in the office to read books. You have time to print.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's the one issue that is happening right now is technology is allowing us to do things in different ways, but the IRS is still kind of old.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah.
And so as much as there's this desire to just come up with this way of doing things that were going to be paperless,
Yeah.
somewhere down the line, that institution still wants to see a paper backup.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And
I missed that when
it's
you were
been-
talking about it. I thought you were just meaning for, like, in-house purpose. So,
Yeah, no, I mean these are
yeah.
this is for bookkeeping.
Right. Yeah.
You
So
know,
if the IRS is going to get involved, they're going to want a paper copy.
Of certain things,
Yeah.
some things they don't care.
Right.
Other things they do, and I imagine if there's an audit, they're going to want to see everything printed out.
Yeah.
So that's why you just do it in paper to begin with, and
Yeah.
I think that's frustrating to some people who think that everything should now be paperless and digital and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
However, there's nothing wrong with the way we do things. Like,
Yeah.
I love this idea, like, oh, it's more efficient. I said, well, no, you just created two ways of doing something where before I was doing one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not sure where it's more efficient.
Right. You
It
can't
might
add.
be more secure.
It's really tough to add a step to something and say it's more efficient, because efficiency generally
yeah.
means less steps.
Yeah, like there's
Or as few as
that same
possible.
thing with like our new time tracking software. it's so frustrating to me, and like, my GM and I had a major blow up on this thing because I'm like, this is garbage. Like, this is more work for me.
Right.
It's just more work. Other people love it. Awesome. I see the benefits to it, but every single time I log on to this app, I'm just like, and I'm like, and his explanation about more efficient, more this and that, I'm like, for who?
Yeah.
Because it ain't for me.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, generally when you work a job and you're told something's more efficient, it's usually not for you. It's usually for the people higher up than you. Like, oh, we want to do less work. We want you to do more to make our job easier.
And that's what it came down to, is everything on the back end seems to be getting more efficient, but on the front end it's not. It's becoming more difficult.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So, I'm just going to go with it because, nothing's permanent.
Yeah.
I'm just applying my Buddhism.
Right.
There's nothing's permanent. Everything's temporary and transitory. And
yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
All I'm here to do is protect people's investment and limit liability. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep doing that.
Right.
Yeah. So, hey, that's been my thing. I'm, like I said, stoked about music and yeah, it's great. Oh, but the only bad news I had was a friend of mine who has been in a coma for 9 months. He gave up the fight, and yeah, it's a bummer. And I really want to go to the memorial. We were never close personally, but from a musical standpoint, we just have a lot of history together, and my good friends were closer. I mean, because I left 20 years ago. You know, so
right. Okay, I was just going to ask if that was someone where you are or where you're from. Okay,
is where I'm from, and yeah, it really bummed me out, and I want to go there also just to support my friends.
Sure,
they were
right.
Really
to be part of the community of it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just one of those things where it's like, airfare is expensive.
Yeah,
like,
right.
So I got to make some choices, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's too bad. That
I was so.
Yeah,
Harry was, God, he just, it doesn't hit me as personally as it does, other people. And he's got 2 young kids, and his wife's fantastic. And it just, you just sit there and you go, why him? Someone who just gave so much to art. It's hard, but
one thing I've always liked is that, I mean, it's really true for any of us, but especially it's easier to see with artists, is that at least when they pass or whatever, is that at least we still have the awesome stuff they created,
Yes.
But like I said, that's not to diminish his beautiful kids or his life with his wife or any of those things,
Well, those are also beautiful things
right,
he created.
He
created a wonderful marriage.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Is it's
right.
like we can listen to the music for a long time and still have that piece of the person around and different stuff.
Yeah.
I always think that's kind of cool that, it is something, like I said, really it could be said about anybody, but it's just, like I said, it's easier with artists because there's that tangible art, that you can keep enjoying.
Eddie texted me links to, there was a YouTube page where somebody had taken a lot of videos of them playing live. And I got to go watch Harry, and I've seen them before, but it's been years.
Yeah.
And I went to go watch them again. And I was like, and it bummed me out, but it also, filled me with warmth because it was him. But I'll tell you the one thing you just touched on, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up is I need you to help hold me to this. Next year, I finish my own stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So you have some completion.
And that's not to say you know, I'll play some gigs. The 80s thing I'll do anytime, like that I will do. If we have gigs all year, I'll do that all day long because that's guitar playing.
Yeah.
However, I need all these demos I have, that I just cranked out in a night.
Yeah.
I want to finish.
Yeah.
And as much as I can sit there and say, oh, I love the process and I don't necessarily need to memorialize it. Yeah, I think I kind of do.
Right. Also, it's
I
like,
think
and you can kind of look ahead on that too, right? Like we all, like a lot of people think about their legacy or what they leave behind or whatever. And it's like, it's kind of a more comforting / cool thought that you're like, hey, I have this completed, I don't even want to say an album, but I have this catalog of music I've completed.
Yeah.
That, like I was just saying,
Yeah.
it's like you can enjoy this, after I'm gone or whatever. There's something more.
Or if nobody enjoys it,
Yeah.
that I at least,
Or at least
I
you
at
did
least
it.
fulfilled. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I finished something. Like it's still haunting me. My mom saying, when are you going to finish something? Like, ouch. There's a way of like just right to the bone.
Knife right between the ribs. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's more like, to me, it's more like it's a finger pointed into your chest.
You're right. Yeah.
Like going doink doink doink.
Yeah.
Hey, it was like when I wasn't sure if I wanted to move to Idaho, and I found out that the company I'd worked for 15 years was going to be terminated. And she's like, "Well, you're going nowhere personally, professionally, or socially. I think you need to get out of California."
Wow.
I'm like, "Oh, Mom, all right.
Dang.
Don't pull any punches there."
Yeah. How dare you speak
But
the
she was
truth to
right.
me? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
100% correct.
Sometimes that's exactly what we need, though, right? Is that sharp finger in the chest.
Like doink, doink, doink,
Yeah.
doink. So that's I keep looking at the stuff,
Yeah.
the things I have that I don't even use.
Right.
And I'm like, well, maybe you should use them.
Yeah. Right. Instead of getting rid of all of it, use it.
Use it. And then get rid of it.
And then get rid of it if you want to. Sure.
Yeah. And then in the end, go, well, that didn't make any real difference. Why do you have this? Get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something. It's funny. I actually was thinking about. In my storage, I have a chest of drawers over there, and it was taped shut. And I was like, oh, that's probably just to keep the drawers, from sliding out when we moved it. Because I remember we just, and I was like, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, no. I was like, we would have just taken the drawers out if we were going to move it because it makes it lighter,
Yes.
And so I start to, the bottom drawer wasn't taped all the way, and I pull it out, and I'm like, there's art supplies in this whole thing.
Oh,
I
wow.
forgot, and I don't even know what's in this. It's been so long, I've forgotten what's even in it. I have one here that's got one of the drawers. I have stuff for the podcast, like wires and mics and stuff. But other than that, it's full of art supplies, and I'm like, I don't even know what I have over there. So I'm going to have to, I'm probably going to bring it here, and then I'll just wait till I bring it here to go through it. But it's still just like, and I think I'm going to have to face that very much. Like, okay, you're not using this. It's time for some of this stuff to go. Because realistically, if I'm going to do art, I don't need paints because I don't really like to paint. I don't need the charcoal because I don't really do charcoal. Like there's a lot of those supplies. It is probably time for it to move on. The only reason to keep it would be if I were going to go back to school for art, because then I wouldn't have to buy it again.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's time. I think I'm finally at that point that it's time to let some of these materials go. Also some of the markers and stuff I'll have to test. They may have dried up because they're alcohol based.
That's true.
Although in fairness,
Yeah,
I do know you can take I think a syringe and re-inject alcohol into them to bring them back to life.
Yeah.
So
I have seen that before. Yeah.
So there is that, but it's like, who knows what else is in that thing? I don't know if it's from school or if it was just, because I had amassed a lot of markers and colored pencils and all that kind of stuff. So I think I need to, but I'll face that down the road. Like one brother was saying to me before, it's like, that's not a today problem. That's a down the road issue. So Also, it was weird. I found this one case over there, and I was like, "What's in this?" It's an art box, and I was like, "Oh, it's probably got a bunch of charcoal and stuff in it." And I opened it, and it had stuff from calligraphy. Well, I've got a box here that I thought had
Ooh.
the calligraphy stuff in it. So I'm like, "Well, what's in this box then?" Probably my charcoal. It's probably I probably put the calligraphy stuff over there because I have no intent on using it. But that's something I may be able to sell because it's all left-handed nibs and stuff like that. So, and those cost more. So maybe if I throw it all together, I can, get a couple bucks or something. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm finally putting into practice it's time to get rid of stuff a little more. I've been wanting to do it over the years, but I'm finally, because I've kind of had to now. Life gave me the kick in the pants to do it. So I figure while the momentum's moving that way, I might as well try, and get rid of as much as I can that or brings me no happiness or I don't need anymore, whichever it is, So,
Does this bring me pleasure?
yeah. I'm not, it's weird because
Does this bring me joy?
I'm not even that guy, but it's still just like,
Right.
like as I was over at my storage and I had a board game there called Rebound, and it's basically like shuffleboard. Like it's a long thing. It's got 2 rows in it. You roll these like marbles down, and there's rubber bands on the end, and it bounces, and then it goes down to a scoring area. And your goal is to knock your opponent out of the scoring area and score as much as you can. So basically shuffleboard. And my brother was like, "Oh man, I wanted to get one of the," or he's like, "I think that my granddaughters would really like, their grandkids would like this game," and I'm like, "Take it." He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "It's been sitting here 10 years. Like clearly, I'm playing it all the time, So, and he goes, "Okay," I was like, "Please, it's one less thing in my storage too," But it's just the truth of it. Like, why do I still have this? Like, I mean, I know why. I just never got rid of it. I just, I honestly forgot it was over there because my nephew's daughters probably would enjoy playing it, and if I had thought of that, I would have given it to them to play or given it to my sister to keep at her house for when they go over there or something, because again, it's doing nothing for me, so, I think it's just that mentality of I'm just, part of things with me is like, I need money, so I'm willing to sell things, but also I just don't want all this stuff because I'm just, part of me is also the like, if I have to move at some point, I don't want to have to move all this stuff, to another place that it's just going to sit, and then eventually maybe I have to move from that place, like like it's just time to get rid of some stuff, man. It's time to just become a minimalist, live with what I can carry. An overwhelming amount of guilt and depression. I kid.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You're like, this is enough of a burden. I don't need this other
I know, right?
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
That's great.
I cannot imagine me as a minimalist. Like, if I had to live that way, I mean, I try to live minimally, but as far as, like, I have a lot of stuff. By minimally, I mean more like I try not to accrue a ton of bills, but oh boy. Yeah, that stupid scarcity mindset screwed me up for a
funny.
long time. So, anyway, yeah. All right. Well, you got anything else, or you think we're
No,
good
I'm good.
All right. Yeah, we talked long
was
enough. I'm
great
not worried
catching
about
up.
a topic or anything.
A
So.
topic,
yeah.
it was great to catch up.
Yep, I agree. All right. Oh, I didn't pull up the things. What am I doing? Whoops, then I clicked the wrong thing. Man. All right. That's not the right thing either. There we go. All right. Well, if you want to continue the conversation, you can, you know what? I'm just going to say you can hit us up on Twitter at The Crazy Life Pod, where I post when new episodes go up, or join us over on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Crazy Life Podcast, and join us over there if you want to send us a message. Or you can follow. Oh, I already did that part. Never mind. I know. How about you? How can I talk to you? I'm a mess.
You can find me on the X's and threads at Idaho. Or you can always find me on Facebook and Instagram, sharing my wildflowers and pets, and hopefully some cool music in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, you can follow me on a variety of social medias at Stunami. You can find my other podcast called Salty Language at salty_language on Twitter or at saltylanguage.com. That show's not safe for work, and it's just me and my best friend talking about whatever we decide to talk about. Like, he started listening to the Rolling Stone Top 500 albums, and I'm going to join him on this. So
Oh wow.
that should be a fun listen. Yeah, the first album, the one, at least I don't know if he's moved on or not, but the first one we listened to, number 500, is Arcade Fire. And I can't remember the name of it. Was it Funeral? I think it is. And I very much learned that Arcade Fire is probably not for me. So, like, I can appreciate why people like them, but I don't think it's really my scene.
I think I have like 2 songs that I really like.
Yeah. And I know, what is it? The next one is, oh, shoot. Page has got to refresh, of course. It's, I can't think of what it is now. Hold on. I'll have it here in a second. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, and I'm spoiling it for myself. Oh, no. It's Rufus Shaka Khan, Ask Rufus. So, and I do
nice.
not think I've definitely never heard the album. I don't know what I am or am not familiar with off of the album. So I think this is going to be fun because I really want to get into music. And it's like, really, if it wasn't for us never following through on whatever, I would have suggested to him, like, let's do a podcast on this, where this is the whole premise of the podcast. We just listen to the top 500 albums, and it's done when it's done, basically. But I just don't think we'd ever end up doing it. So it took us years to start doing the podcast. So anyway, but yeah, if you're into, like, we talked about Cheez-It Pizza, we talked about a band called Nerve Herder and a song they have called We Open for Weezer, which is a great little listen if you're not familiar with it.
Great song.
It's basically just a band talking about how one time they opened for Weezer, and it's kind of a love letter to Weezer. It's great. I have Arcade Fire Funeral written down right here in my notes. But we talked about the apparently there's Baconator Cheez-Its now. There's going to be Fruity Pebbles flavored Liquid Death. I talked a little bit about Squid Game. Yeah, it's so if you're into any of that stuff,
wow,
come give us a listen. Some of this stuff I don't know, man. The Cheez-It Pizza I'm really interested in. Like, we definitely want to try to find that.
Actually, sounds kind of cool.
It might be all right. Yeah, and it, from the looks of it, from what Tony read, it looks like it's keto friendly because the crust doesn't look like it's like bread. It's it's made out of like cheese and something else. So. Yeah, so like I said, if you'd give us a listen, we'd appreciate it. Not safe for work, though, so please be aware of that. And, also, if you need help, please reach out. Please check on your friends, family, whoever, if they, especially if they're in a place where they aren't doing real well. Even if they are, I guess, because a lot of times people lie. And then also, try to be kind. Just try to put kindness out there and do what you can do for others and whatever in your life. It's like I haven't really been anywhere to do much kindness lately, but the biggest thing is also never forget this part, which is, kindness starts at home.
That's been my kindness.
Yeah, be kind to yourself.
I've been at home lately.
And others in your home. I mean, I didn't necessarily mean that way, but also
and helping my wife.
Yeah, be nice to people in your home as well.
They know where you live.
Yeah,
and they know where you sleep.
True, and they know when you sleep.
Exactly.
That's the most dangerous part. Anywho.
Exactly.
So that's enough from me. Heno, you want to take us home?
Yeah, I found a quote on self-love that I thought was perfect because at the bottom it's attributed to One Bite Wisdom.
Okay.
And so I modified it so it reflected One Bite Wisdom. So the quote is, "Close your eyes and imagine the best pizza version of you possible." That's the pizza who you really are. Let go of any part of pizza you that doesn't believe it.
I like that.